Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Alexandra, and around here we don't gatekeep, and most importantly we don't pretend like we have it all together either. This is your space to grow, glow and figure it out as we go along. Let's get into it. So I thought I would start off the vlog here as I am preparing to pack for my trip to Oxford. So today is Sunday, I'm there for a couple of days and I'm travelling back up on the Wednesday, so I thought I would show you what I'm packing, my routines, but also take you along on the trip itself. So we've got a very important meeting tomorrow, and it's funny because I still have imposter syndrome. I'm literally turning 30 this month, and you know, at the end of the day I actually do have a seat at the table to make some key decisions with the team about, you know, strategic positioning and what we're doing with the business, but I sometimes still feel like an undergraduate that doesn't know her stuff, but I do know my stuff. So for a little bit of context, I am a CMC Regulatory Specialist, or rather Regulatory Affairs. So CMC stands for Chemistry, Manufacturing Controls, and I work in the biotech sector for a company that's developing DNA-based therapeutics, and this is one of the projects that I'm leading on at the moment with the side of regulatory affairs, and it's still a relatively new area to me. I have only been working in regulatory affairs for about a year, but product development and CMC is my bread and butter, so this is something I feel really comfortable in, and at the moment I am leading on a huge project, so it's a great opportunity and I have a jam-packed 6 months ahead. So we're currently just entering Q4 of 2025, and yeah, like I can't believe we're basically almost at the end of the year. Okay, that's enough of me rambling on. Let's actually get packed because I need to leave in about a couple of hours. So first up, we have clothes. So I'm taking black wide leg trousers, and honestly, you can't go wrong with these. They are a solid staple and they make you look very elevated. Since I'm only away for a couple of days, I'm taking two tops, and they're kind of polyester based. So one's kind of like an off beige, and then one's white and gathered at the sides. I know they look creased, but I will be ironing them when I get to the hotel. I always find that whenever I travel and iron the day before or before the trip, I pack and then I unpack and the things are creased, so I'm not doing that twice. Now top wise as well, I'm taking a black blazer. So again, you know, it makes you look sharp, elevated, so on and so forth, and it's a staple. So I do have 3 colours of blazers that I rotate through, one beige, one pink, like a dusty pink, and black. So black is just a solid choice in general. I feel like when you're looking at workwear, I would definitely recommend just having one black blazer. And I also use it, you know, just out and about in general, like if I'm going out for drinks or for dinner, I will pair my black blazer with other pieces that I already have. So in case you haven't picked up on the vibe, I feel very strongly about having a timeless capsule wardrobe because I hate feeling like I'm scrambling for outfits, whether this is for, you know, just casual or whether it's work. I'd rather have things that, you know, you can basically mix and match. And for footwear, I'm taking a pair of white pointed flats. Now I do like a pointed heel, however, taking that and being in them for 2 days straight will literally ruin my feet, and having a flat pointed shoe is like a good middle ground. And in terms of other bits and pieces that I'm taking is literally just jammies and then a couple of white tops just as backups, and literally like my Gymshark leggings, like these ones for traveling back on the Wednesday, and that's pretty much it clothing wise, which I'm really pleased with because I usually completely overpack, and see anytime I travel to Oxford my bag is just filled to the brim. Now one thing I find a little bit tricky when packing is the fact that the weather's really different between like where I live in Scotland and Oxford. So as I'm going to be leaving today, it's going to be torrential rain, and in Oxford it's going to be dry, and it's also going to be dry for the next 2 days and warm, much warmer than here. So I'm almost like trying to compromise between the two because I don't want to be like cold and then absolutely drenched when I come back on Wednesday either. Now because I travel for work quite often, I did that for my last job as well, I've created almost like a system that works very well for me when it comes to, you know, packing but also knowing what to pack. So I always keep a little stock of like miniatures, whether these are shampoos, conditioners, face wash and stuff like that, but I have like literally a little box and then I just pull out of them without having to constantly buy new ones. So hair wise, I'm taking a shampoo and a conditioner just from Pantene. Again, nothing fancy, but I am taking a deep conditioner, and this is from Coco and Eve. I was trying to take the Philip Kingsley stuff, but they didn't have any of Boots and I had to top up today. And other things is the kind of like a serum to protect against heat, as I find the hair dryers in hotels tend to be very like more drying than usual almost. Again, there is no science to it. I just don't particularly like the hotel hair dryers, but you know, I'll make do with what I have. And the little conditioner I am taking for my hair, it's mostly because see the air in the airplane, like anytime I travel I just feel like all the moisture is being sucked out of me and my hair. And because of this, tonight I'm going to have a wee Garnier face mask. So I do this every single time I'm away. As soon as I get back to the hotel and I have a shower, I then have a face mask, and that's why I'm also taking the deep conditioner. Now I see a lot of people do their skincare on an airplane, and honestly I just cannot, because if you think about it, the air's just circulating, the same air circulating the whole time, and I would much rather just clean my face and then apply skincare than apply skincare and face masks and stuff like that in that kind of environment. Now in terms of my trusted products, I'm just taking stuff that I use every day anyway. So this includes the 2 serums from The Ordinary, 1 multi-peptide with hyaluronic acid, and then the niacinamide with zinc to use in the morning and at night time. In the morning I use a caffeine eye cream from the Inculist and the Omega water cream as well. I really like this cream as a base underneath my makeup. It never fails me, it never makes me look cakey. I just love it so much. So if you can, give this a little try. It's honestly such a gem. So for nighttime I'm taking 3 additional products, and this includes the Cicaplast from La Roche-Posay. I use this all the time and I literally tell everybody that a little bit of it goes a long way. It is great and it's very reparative, but it can cause you melia, and I actually end up with a little bit of melia on my cheek because I have been using too many serums at night, including retinol plus the cream some of the nights, and yeah, it wasn't the best combo, but we're learning. And the other stuff I'm taking is the CeraVe eye cream, and it's because my eye area is a little bit sensitive from the use of retinol. And I'm also taking the multi-peptide lash serum from The Ordinary. I'm not sure if this is going to, yeah, I'm not sure if it will actually go into frame, but this is great for your lashes. So I have been using an eyelash serum for quite a bit of time, and I used to use Revitalash, which is great. It gives you results within 1 month. However, it does use things like prostaglandins. Anyway, I'm going to get into that a little bit later, but this little bad boy is about £15 and you'll start seeing results within 3 months. And yeah, I really like it, and I'll get into the kind of nitty gritty about the science behind those products in another video, because it's something I feel very strongly about. And then to wash my makeup off every night, I'm using the Bioma jelly kind of cleanser. It's really good. It removes makeup, which, you know, ticks off all the boxes for me. I don't like to cleanse twice. Now, because I'm an SPF fiend, I'm going to take my little Avene SPF 50 and I put that on before I have any makeup. So this is after all my morning routine, and this one actually layers beautifully underneath makeup. So yeah, if you can, give it a little try. As part of my system, I have a little makeup brush holder, and I'm not taking all my makeup brushes, I'm just taking selective ones that I use pretty much on the daily, and it saves me carrying everything. And lastly, I usually have a little perfume with me, so I buy these from Zara. So I'm taking the Red Temptation. I don't know if this is actually in frame, there we go. And it's about like £12, and I rather take something that's, you know, very affordable, and in case I leave at the hotel, because there's been several occasions when I would leave some toiletries behind, so at least that way I'm kind of safeguarding myself against that.
So, a little bit of context on what I actually do in product development. Once you've proved something works in the lab, that's really just the beginning. My side of biotech, what's called CMC, is all about figuring out if you can actually manufacture it as a real medicine. Can it be scaled, purified, and made consistently so it's safe for patients? And on top of that, regulatory affairs is the oversight piece, making sure the whole strategy lines up with what health authorities expect so a therapy can keep moving forward. I'm very lucky because my role spans both sides. I'm close to the science in the CMC, but I also get to shape the bigger regulatory story. I always wanted to be in product development because I wanted to work on things that actually reach patients. In academia, I didn't always feel the impact, but here I know the work we're doing has a chance of making a real difference.
And we made it to Oxford. Honestly, what a journey. Like, I've been on the go literally since about 5 p.m. and now it's like 23:33. My flight was delayed by an hour, which has such a knock-on effect because I usually take the shuttle from Heathrow to Oxford, which takes about an hour. There wasn't much traffic, but just having a slight delay like meant that I didn't meet my original timeline. Anyway, I checked in the hotel and I'm really pleased with what I booked this time around. So I usually stay at the EasyJet hotel. However, because I was arriving late today, I'm staying a lot closer to the science park. So this is it as you walk in. I have a little bit of like wardrobe space. Of course, I unpacked already. Got everything sorted here. And then got a nice double bed, a bit of space to work if I really wanted to and get ready. And then around here got a nice full-length mirror and the bathroom. And the bathroom is actually very decent. The spacing's nice. The lighting's nice, so I'll definitely be able to get nice makeup on tomorrow. And yeah, for the rest of the evening, I'm literally just going to jump in the shower and call it a day because I'm up early. Good morning! This is going to be a super quick update as I need to run and get some breakfast. So I would usually go to Gail's and pick something up on the way and then head into the office, but I'm actually going to have some food locally and then head to the office because it's about a 10-minute walk. But yeah, the night, I don't know why, but sometimes when I'm traveling I just can't settle the first night I'm there and like I'm almost like on the edge, not really sleeping. So when I woke up this morning I was just like, oh my god, like I feel like I've barely slept. But dare I say, I think the makeup is doing a lot of lifting today. So let me just show you my outfit. So I was going to do it in a full-length mirror, but the lighting's really harsh. So yep, the oversized kind of trousers. I get really bloated when I travel, so I usually try to get or take something with me that doesn't really like cling on to me too much. The thing that's really keeping me sane while I'm away is listening to Fourth One. So I listen to Fourth One when I'm at home and literally listening to it on the app while I'm away. It just feels like I've got a little piece of home and it just gives me a lot of comfort.
Most of what I do in regulatory affairs is about connecting the dots between the science and the rules. In CMC, that means making sure the product can actually be manufactured safely and at scale, and that everything is documented so it could actually get approved someday. It's not very glamorous, but it's where the magic behind the scenes really happens.
It's an absolutely beautiful day. I was actually just looking for a wee slot to speak because it's so busy. But yeah, there's always like construction work going on at the site itself and it's always buzzing about. So when I used to work in Glasgow at BioCity, it's like the Oxford Science Park like does not compare. It's huge and there's always so much happening. But it doesn't compare. I mean, like Glasgow is just so small in terms of like the science parks and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely an experience, and as you can hear, there's so many cars around.
I haven't had much time to film that day, but a fun fact, I actually started my product development career in Glasgow BioCity straight after finishing my PhD, and the role I have now is my fourth one since I finished up my last postgrad degree.
So I thought I would give a little debrief of today. It was quite intense. There was a lot spoken about, a lot of information to take in and consider, but one point I actually just sat there and I was just like, I am the youngest person here, and it made me feel really good knowing that I'm involved in, you know, such an exciting project, and just even having a seat at the table, like, I don't know, I just felt like I was on top of the world today. So it's not every day that you get to be in the same room and discussing a project at length with the CEO, the CFO, the Chief Scientific Officer, the Chief Medical Officer. And you know, this time 5 years ago I was still doing my PhD, and if you would have told me then that that's the kind of project I'd be involved in and I'd have a seat at the table, I probably wouldn't believe you pretty much. I mean, just working for a smaller company in like the biotech and pharma space can make a big difference because you get a lot more exposure and a lot more opportunities. Like in my case, for example, I have a lot more exposure at the company that I'm working at now. And this is mostly because, you know, as the company grows and as things evolve, the different functions within the company also evolve, in particular when it comes to product development. There's different expectations between phase 1, 2 and 3. So if you're at a company that's in the biotech space, you'll have the opportunity to grow with the company as well. And I mentioned earlier that like I still get imposter syndrome. Of course I do. but it's something that like I continue to work on. And what I thought about on the way home was the fact that if I wasn't good enough, I wouldn't have been given the position that I'm in. And never mind lead the regulatory aspect if they didn't think I was up to the job. So at the end of the day, it's just a confidence situation. And also, like, it would be really weird if you didn't change over time and if you didn't learn. Like, for professional side of things, I always think, you know, this just goes a little bit of career advice, I suppose, is, you know, just having the willingness to learn. I once had a really good mentor that said to me that nothing can be learned. Like, there's no reason for you not to take something on, even if you don't know how to do it, because you will figure it out along the way. And it's something I live by now. Like, literally, when I apply for jobs or just anything I'm doing, like even YouTube now is like, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm figuring it out and I'm showing up, and that's all that matters. Like, your brain will just get better at it as the time goes on. Anyway, that's enough of rambling about that. So I'm not sure what I'm doing tonight. I've not had dinner. I honestly just want to go to my bed. Like, I am quite tired. Obviously I got in quite late last night, so that makes sense. But typically when I'm in Oxford, I usually just go into the city centre, I have food, and then like I just kind of wander around aimlessly. But it's mostly just to kind of give my body a bit of a break between being at work and going back to the hotel, and like, I don't know, I feel like I usually need it. So because I'm feeling a little bit frazzled, I forgot to check the temperature on the iron and I started ironing my top, and this is what happened. Like, come on, it really needs to be at low temperature. At least I ironed it the all the way around, so I quickly put some water on it to, you know, try to salvage the material. But yeah, this is just the reality of having a sleep deprived brain. I've actually managed to sign into Netflix while I'm away. This is the first time I managed to do that when I've actually had like a smart TV in a hotel, especially in like a budget hotel. Honestly, I'm totally buzzing. I'm going to watch Wednesday for the rest of the evening, and I'm currently waiting for my Deliveroo and my Nando's. I cannot wait.
Even after a hectic day, I like to pause and think about my little corner in product development. The product I'm working on is already in phase 2, so it's past discovery, but there's still so much to figure out. For example, scaling up the processes and making sure regulators are happy along the way with what we're proposing. Most people don't see this side of biotech, but it's the glue that makes therapies actually reach the patients. Getting ready for the day, I actually love how CMC is where science meets reality. By phase 2, it's not just about a promising product, it's about making it safely, reliably, and in a way that regulators will actually sign off on it. So every single process, every method, every tweak that you make along the way, and every document that you create really matters, because you need to document the overall journey. It's very exciting and honestly a little nerve-wracking too.
Good morning. Dare I say I feel super refreshed. Honestly, having that super chill night yesterday has done me wonders, because I actually managed to get to sleep fine and I had a really good night's sleep, and yeah, all the good vibes today. So today's Tuesday and my day is definitely not as intense as yesterday. I've got a few calls, a few catch-ups, and I need to do some formatting of documents, which honestly doesn't sound too exciting, but it needs done, as we had some feedback from publishers. And yeah, and then I'm meeting my friend for dinner. She's coming from Reading, so we used to work together at our last job, so we moved on since, but we still keep in touch. And yeah, it's her birthday this week, so we're gonna go for like a wee pub dinner, and I got her a wee book and a card, because, you know, like, just remembering the fact that it's their birthday, even getting a card, I feel like as you get older this is such an important thing to do. So yeah, I'm just gonna go grab breakfast and then hit the road to get to the science park.
Now, what people don't often see is that product development doesn't stop once a molecule or a product looks promising. From formulation to scale up to stability testing, every single step is backed by data, and that's where regulatory teams like mine are constantly involved. It's a marathon of problem solving, and tiny decisions end up making a huge difference in whether a therapy actually makes it out of the door.
And that's Tuesday done and dusted. I am so relieved. I actually got quite a lot done at work, and I say this because usually when I'm on site I don't get as much done, and this is because I'm catching up with a lot of people. But today was a very productive day, so I'm feeling relieved. I have a plan going forward for some major bits of my project, which have basically ticked off like major, I wouldn't say anxieties, but just things that were kind of like on top of my head every day, like living rent free. And I literally just got back and got changed. I'm waiting for my friend as we speak, as we're heading out for dinner. And yeah, I'm thinking to just quickly pack before tomorrow morning, as I'm literally heading out first thing and travelling back to Edinburgh. I'm going to try close off as much as I can, and at least today I'm not completely sleep deprived.
I was meeting with a friend tonight who works in IP, which is the intellectual property. That's another crucial part of product development. While I focus on CMC, she's making sure the science and innovations are protected legally, so that everything we develop can eventually be safely and responsibly turned into a product. It's a different angle, but it's just as essential.
And just like that, it's Wednesday, it's travel day. I have literally just gotten ready and packed all my bags, and I'm ready to go. I'm going to go down for breakfast, and I'm going to do a bit of work before I leave, since I have access to Wi-Fi here. And yeah, today the weather is awful, so it's absolutely chucking it down. I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, it's definitely not a good vibe. And I am thinking of how I'm going to get into Oxford. So the hotel is like right beside Science Park, beside the stadium as well. So there are buses, so I'm going to see what the situation is, what the connection's like. I feel like I'm a total airport dad when I go and travel for work, specifically in this area, because I feel like if there's anything wrong with traffic or anything happens, like I am at the mercy of public transport.
I always think about how much coordination goes into even one single product. By phase 2, the early attrition is behind us, but there's still plenty that can actually go sideways. Most products don't make it, and it takes years of work just to get this far. Being in the middle stage, where we're turning lab science into something manufacturable and safe, is where you really see how all those pieces come together and why every single detail really matters.
And that's the Oxford vlog trip wrapped up. I wanted this vlog to be a really transparent one, because sometimes work trips are really aesthetic and really fun, And other times they're like this. They're just times when I have very intense days and I just want to go back to the hotel straight after. Now I think it's important to show both sides, because technically there isn't a right way or wrong way to do work travel, and you have to figure out what best balance works for you. For me, with long and intense days, I need to give myself a bit of reflection and a lot more time and space to just be, rather than have some sort of expectations to be doing XYZ on the day or the evening. So here we are, ambitious, a bit frazzled, and of course still figuring it all out. And since this is my first type of this video, welcome to the Biotech Diaries. Thank you so much for coming along with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!